Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. For those of you who are new here, my name is Amber. For today's video, we're going to be talking about my fall TBR. Some of them are new releases, but most of them are ones that I have on my physical TBR because I really want to get through those. And they're ones that have been sitting on my TBR cart for a little too long. So we'll start off with the ones that I don't have. I only have like 2 of them. The first one is Katabasis by R.F. Kuang. That one comes out this month, August 26th. And it says, 2 graduate students must set aside their rivalry and journey to hell to save their professor's soul, perhaps at the cost of their own. Alice Law has only ever had one goal, to become one of the brightest minds in the field of magic. She has sacrificed everything to make that a reality, her pride, her health, her love life, and most definitely her sanity. All to work with Professor Jacob Grimes at Cambridge, the greatest magician in the world. That is, until he dies in a magical accident that could possibly be her fault. Grimes is now in hell, and she's going in after him. Because his recommendation could hold her very future in his now incorporeal hands, and even death is not going to stop the pursuit of her dreams, nor will the fact that her rival, Peter Murdoch, has come to the same conclusion. Yes, please. The next one is Alchemized by Senlin Yu. That one is the same author that did the fanfic Manacled, the Dramini fanfic, but so it is manacled, but traditionally published, so things have been changed to kind of separate it from Dramini. A woman with missing memories fights to survive a war-torn world of necromancy and alchemy, and the man tasked with unearthing the deepest secrets of her past. What is it you think you're protecting in that brain of yours? The war is over. Holdfast is dead. The eternal flame extinguished. There's no one left for you to save. Once a promising alchemist, Helena Marino is now a prisoner of war and her own mind. Her resistance friends and allies have been brutally murdered, her abilities suppressed, and the world she knew destroyed. In the aftermath of a long war, Palladia's new ruling class of corrupt guild families and depraved necromancers, whose vile, undead creatures helped bring about their victory, holds Helena captive. According to Resistance records, she was a healer of little importance within their ranks, but Helena has inexplicable memory loss of the months leading up to her capture, making her enemies wonder, is she truly as insignificant as she appears, or are her lost memories hiding some vital piece of the Resistance final gambit? To uncover the memories buried deep within her mind, Helena is sent to the High Reeve, one of the most powerful and ruthless necromancers in this new world. Trapped on his crumbling estate, Helena's fight to protect her lost history and to preserve the last remaining shreds of her former self is just beginning. For her prison and captor have secrets of their own, secrets Helena must unearth whatever the cost. Now, which I don't want to talk about the fact that I have in fact been at 26% through Manacled for months now. I really want to sit down and just binge read that book. That's why I have not picked it back up. My issue is other books keep coming out. And so like I want to do reading vlogs for those books, and I know Manacled is going to take me a hot minute to finish because I'm slow at reading. I also have started Manacled 2 times previous to this, and it's never been that I don't like the book or that I'm not vibing with it, because I am. It's just my brain has to jump all over the place. I can't like focus on something for a long period of time, and I do this with every book that I pick up. That's me putting down a book and walking away for a little bit and starting a different book. Never is a good gauge of if I'm enjoying a book or not. Also, if it takes me forever, also not a good gauge of if I liked the book or not, because this just doesn't function 90% of the time. I don't know. It's a struggle that I deal with daily. Okay, let's get into the books that I own that I want to read, that I need to try and force myself to read, because some of these are hitting like 3 years on my shelf, and that's... Anyway. Oh, also, this is going to be in no particular order. I just piled all these books and called it a day, so we're just going to pick them up. First up, The Last Tale of the Flower Bride by Roshani Chokshi. That sounds more right. I've heard very mixed things on this book. I don't know. A sumptuous Gothic-infused story about a marriage that is unraveled by dark secrets, a friendship cursed to end in tragedy, and the danger of believing in fairy tales. A man who believed in fairy tales married a beautiful, mysterious woman named Indigo. He was a scholar of myths. She was the heiress to a fortune. They exchanged gifts and stories and believed they would live happily ever after. In exchange for their love, Indigo extracted a promise that her bridegroom would never pry into her past. But when Indigo learns that her estranged aunt is dying and the couple is forced to return to her childhood home, the House of Dreams, the bridegroom will soon find himself unable to resist. For within the crumbling manor's extravagant rooms and musty halls lurks the shadow of another girl, Azure, Indigo's dearest childhood friend, who suddenly disappeared. As the house slowly reveals his wife's secrets, the bridegroom will be forced to choose between reality and fantasy, even if doing so threatens his marriage or his life. I don't have much to say about that book. I've heard very mixed things about it. We'll see. This lighting is not ideal today. I apologize for that. Next up, we have Don't Let the Forest In by C.G. Drews. This one I'm very excited to get to. I did just pick this up. It might have been a hot minute now. I might have had this for a while now. I feel like I just picked it up, but I haven't really done like a book haul or anything in a minute. High school senior Andrew Perrault finds refuge in the twisted fairy tales that he writes for the only person who can ground him to reality, Thomas Rye, the boy with perpetually ink-stained hands and hair like autumn leaves. And with his twin sister Dove inexplicably keeping him at a cold distance upon their return to Wickwood Academy, Andrew finds himself leaning on his friend even more. But something strange is going on with Thomas. His abusive parents have mysteriously vanished, and he arrives at school with blood on his sleeve. Thomas won't say a word about it and shuts down whenever Andrew tries to ask him questions. Stranger still, Thomas is haunted by something, and he seems to have lost interest in his artwork. Whimsically macabre sketches of the monster from Andrew's wicked stories. Desperate to figure out what's wrong with his friend, Andrew follows Thomas into the off-limits forest one night and catches him fighting a nightmarish monster. Thomas's drawings have come to life and are killing anyone close to him. To make sure no one else dies, the boy battles the monsters every night, but as their obsession with each other grows stronger, so do the monsters, and Andrew begins to fear that the only way to stop the creature might be to destroy their creator. Then we have the Foxglove... Hello? The Foxglove King by Hannah Witten. Why was that so hard for me to say? Anyway, again, this is another one I've had on my TBR for very long. This is a Gothic fantasy. Laura has been living by her wits since she was a child, running poisons for the cartel that took her in, avoiding the attention of the law, and keeping her affinity for death magic a secret. Because mortem is a rare and illicit commodity, and using it could mean death. When a job goes wrong and Laura is captured by the sainted king's warrior monks, she expects a pyre. But King August has a different plan. Entire villages on the outskirts of the country have been dying overnight, seemingly at random. Laura can either use her magic to find out what's happening or die, and the king suspects his arrogant, handsome heir is behind it. Thrust into a lavish court where no one can be believed and even fewer can be trusted, Laura must navigate the intricate webs of politics, religion, and forbidden romance and solve the king's mystery. A mystery more dangerous and twisted than Laura can even imagine. I think this one might have just got raised up on my TBR. Next up, we have Empire of the Vampire by Jay Kristoff. This has been one that I have been dying to get to, but I'm scared. I've been trying to finish other series first so that I have less on my series I'm in the middle of list, because that's intimidating and I don't like that, but it's been 27 long years since the last sunrise. For nearly 3 decades, vampires have waged war against humanity, building the eternal empire even as they tear down our own. Now only a few tiny sparks of light endure in a sea of darkness. Gabriel is a silver saint, a member of a holy brotherhood dedicated to defending realm and church from the creatures of the night. But even the Silver Order could not stem the tide once daylight failed us, and now only Gabriel remains. Imprisoned by the very monsters he vowed to destroy, the last Silver Saint is forced to tell his story. A story of legendary battles and forbidden love, of faith lost and friendships won, of the wars of the blood and the Forever King, and the quest for humanity's last remaining hope, the Holy Grail. Look at how floppy this thing is. That's a perfect paperback if I've ever seen one in my life. Next up is Something in the Walls by Daisy Pierce. This is a mystery, thriller, horror, somewhere in there. Ooh, it says, folklore and horror, Something in the Walls is perfect for anyone who loves Midsummer and The Haunting of Hill House. Newly minted child psychologist Mina has little experience. In a field where the first people called are experts, she's been unable to get her feet wet. Instead, she aimlessly spends her days stuck in the stifling heat wave sweeping across Britain and anxiously contemplating her upcoming marriage to careful, precise researcher Oscar. The only reprieve from her small closed world is attending the local bereavement group to mourn her brother's death from years ago. That is until she meets journalist Sam Hunter at the grief group one day, and he has a proposition for her. Alice Weber is a 13-year-old girl who claims she's being haunted by a witch. Living with her family in the crowded home in the remote village of Benathel, Alice's symptoms are increasingly disturbing and money is tight. Taking this job will give Mina some experience. Sam will get the scoop of a lifetime and Alice will get better. Mina is sure of it. But instead of improving, Alice's behavior becomes increasingly inexplicable and intense. The town of Benathil has a deep history of superstition and witchcraft. They believe there is evil in the world, they believe there are ways of dealing with it, and they don't expect outsiders to understand. As Mina races to uncover the truth behind Alice's condition, the dark cracks of Benathil begin to show. Mina is desperate to understand how deep their sinister traditions go and how her own past may be the biggest threat of all. This one just came out this year. Still haven't gotten to it, but I am interested, and I feel like this is perfect for fall. This one might be the one that's been on my TBR the longest. I think I'm pushing 3 years. Yeah. The Priory of the Orange Tree by Samantha Shannon. Now, this is why it's been sitting on my TBR for so long. I'm terrified. The House of Berethnet has ruled Innis for 1,000 years. Still unwed, Queen Sabrin IX must conceive a daughter to protect her realm from destruction, but assassins are getting closer to her door. Ed Durian is an outsider at the court. Though she has risen to the position of lady-in-waiting, she is loyal to a hidden society of mages. Ed keeps a watchful eye on Sabrin, secretly protecting her with forbidden magic. Across the sea, Tane, I know that it's got an interesting pronunciation with the way that that's spelled. I got nothing. Has trained to be a dragon rider since she was a child, but is forced to make a choice that could see her life unravel. Meanwhile, the divided East and West refuse to parley, and forces of chaos are rising from their sleep. Now, let me just tell you, dragons, count me in, count me in. This is one of the ones that I am trying to force myself to read because I have a very strong feeling I'm going to like it once I read it. It's just getting over the fear of how long this is going to take me to read. And will I be confused? Am I going to be extremely confused? Also, I still can't get over the fact that... What is this? What is that? Why? I did a Target pickup when I got this book, and this is the one that they gave me, and you know what? Whatever. Anyway, on to the next. The Atlas 6 by Olivia Blake, another one that has been sitting on my TBR for a hot minute. Each decade, only the 6 most uniquely talented magicians are selected to earn a place in the Alexandrian Society, the foremost secret society in the world. The chosen will secure a life of power and prestige beyond their wildest dreams, but at what cost? Each of the 6 newest recruits has their reasons for accepting the Society's elusive invitation, even if it means growing closer than they could have imagined to their most dangerous enemies, or risking unforgivable betrayal from their most trusted allies. They will fight tooth and nail for the right to join the ranks of the Alexandrians, even if it means they won't all survive the year. Next up is The Whispering Dark by Kelly Andrew. I think this one's like... This one takes place at, I want to say a university, and it's paranormal. Delaney is tired of being seen as fragile just because she's deaf, so when she's accepted into a prestigious program at Godboll University that trains students to slip between parallel worlds, she's excited for the chance to prove herself. But her semester gets off to a rocky start when she has an awkward encounter with a pretentious upperclassman who she has every intention of keeping her distance from. Colton has been ordered to keep far away from the new girl and the voices that call to her from the shadows, but the pull of her proves impossible to ignore, and he can't help but be fascinated by her unusual talents. After a fellow student turns up dead, Delaney and Colton are forced to form a tenuous alliance, plummeting down a rabbit hole of deeply buried university secrets. They soon find themselves up against something old and nameless, an enemy that threatens to tear them and their forbidden partnership apart. A paranormal thriller. Next up, we have Godkiller by Hannah Kaner. Again, I've tried picking this book up like 3 times. I just don't know if this book is for me. I want to give it another go this fall. I just don't know. Kissen's family were killed by zealots of a fire god. Now she makes a living killing gods and enjoys it. That is until she finds a god she cannot kill. Skedi, a god of white lies, has somehow bound himself to a young noble, and they are both on the run from unknown assassins. Joined by a disillusioned knight on a secret quest, they must travel to the ruined city of Blenraden, where the last of the wild gods reside, to each beg a favor. Pursued by demons and in the midst of burgeoning civil war, they will all face a reckoning. Something is rotting at the heart of the kingdom, and only they can be the ones to stop it. Next up is The Hobbit by J.R.R. Tolkien. I am like 50% of the way through this book already. I soft DNF'd it a while ago. I feel like I'm more than 50% of the way through, but I do want to finish this one this fall, and then leading into that, The Lord of the Rings. I do want to read this series very badly, and I will this fall. I have watched these movies. I've lost count at this point. They are my comfort movies, and I watch them way too often. And I've been itching to watch them again, even though I just watched them like 2 months ago. What better time to read these in the fall and rewatch all of them. Then we have Nettle Bone by T. Kingfisher. Again, this is another one that I've made it probably 60% of the way through, and I softy enough this year or last year. But I do want to get back to it because it's definitely got a very dark, grim atmosphere to it, perfect for fall. I feel like I just didn't read this at the right time. Mara, a shy, Covent-raised third-born daughter, is relieved not to be married off for the sake of her parents' throne, but her older sister wasn't so fortunate, and her royal husband is as abusive as he is powerful. In the safety of the convent, Mara wonders who will come to her sister's rescue. After years of watching their families and kingdoms pretend all is well, Mara realizes if any hero is coming, it will have to be Mara herself. If Mara can complete 3 impossible tasks, a witch will grant her the tools she needs. But as is the way in stories of princes and the impossible, these tasks are only the beginning of Mara's strange and enchanting journey to save her sister and topple a throne. I didn't mind that book when I had been reading it. I just, like I said, I think I was reading it at the wrong time. I liked it, I just couldn't fully get invested in it, so I definitely want to give that another go. Then we have Immortal Dark by Titus Grimma. This one I'm terrified of. I've watched a lot of people love this book, but also say that it's confusing a little bit. It began long before my time, but something has always haunted our family. Orphaned heiress Kaiden grew up far from the arcane society she was born into, where human bloodlines gain power through vampire companionship. When her sister June disappears, Kaiden is convinced a vampire stole her, the very vampire bound to their family, the cruel yet captivating Susenio Sagad. To find June, Kaiden must infiltrate the elite Uxley University, where she must survive living with Susenios, even as he does everything he can to drive her away. It doesn't matter that Susenios' wickedness speaks to Kaiden's own violent nature and tempts her to surrender to a life of darkness. She must find her sister and kill Susenios at all costs. When a murder mirroring June's disappearance shakes Uxley, Kaiden sinks further into the ruthless underworld of vampires, risking her very soul. Then she discovers a centuries-old threat, and June could be at the center of it. To save her sister, Kaiden must bring Uxley to its knees and either break free from the horrors of her own actions or embrace the dark entanglements of love and the blood it requires. It just sounds so good, and vampires are the epitome of fall. Next, I have A Discovery of Witches by Deborah Harkness. This one's questionable enough if I'll ever pick it up. I don't really know. I bought these on impulse because somebody was selling all 3 of them at a garage sale, and I decided to buy them. Deep in the heart of Oxford's Bodleian Library, Diana, a young scholar and the descendant of witches, unearths an enchanted alchemical manuscript. Wanting nothing to do with sorcery, she banishes the book to the stacks, but her discovery has set a fantastical underworld stirring, and soon a horde of demons, witches, and other creatures descends upon the library. Among them is the enigmatic Matthew Claremont, a vampire with a keen interest in the book. Equal parts history and magic, romance and suspense, A Discovery of Witches is a mesmerizing and addictive tale of passion and obsession that reveals the closely guarded secrets of an enchanted world. Sounds good. Not at the top of my TBR, though. Next up, I have House of Salt and Sorrows by Erin A. Craig, another one that's been on my TBR for like 2 years now. In a manor by the sea, 12 sisters are cursed. Annalee lives a sheltered life at Highmoor with her sisters. Once there were 12, but loneliness fills the grand halls now that 4 of the girls' lives have been cut short, each death more tragic than the last. Disturbed by a series of ghostly visions, Annalee becomes increasingly suspicious that her sisters' deaths were no accidents. The girls have been sneaking out every night to attend glittering balls, dancing until dawn in silk gowns and shimmering slippers, and Annalee isn't sure whether to try to stop them or to join their forbidden trysts. Because who or what are they really dancing with? When Annalee's involvement with a mysterious stranger who has secrets of his own intensifies, it's a race to unravel the darkness that has fallen over her family before it claims her next. This seems like it's going to have, like, Gothic atmosphere to it. Next up, I have Starling House by Alex E. Harrow, another one I'm not positive on if I'll get to because I see really mixed things on this book. This one is Gothic fantasy. I dream sometimes about a house I've never seen. Opal is a lot of things: orphan, high school dropout, full-time cynic, and part-time cashier, but above all, she's determined to find a better life for her younger brother Jasper. One that gets them out of Eden, Kentucky, a town remarkable for only 2 things: bad luck and E. Starling, the reclusive 19th century author of The Underland who disappeared over 100 years ago. All she left behind were dark rumors in her home. Everyone agrees that it's best to ignore the uncanny mansion and its misanthropic heir, Arthur. Almost everyone, anyway. I should be scared, but in the dream I don't hesitate. Opal has been obsessed with the Underland since she was a child. When she gets a chance to step inside Starling House and make some extra cash for her brother's escape fund, she can't resist. But sinister forces are digging deeper into the buried secrets of Starling House, and Arthur's own nightmares have become far too real. As Eden itself seems to be drowning in its own ghosts, Opal realizes that she might finally have found a reason to stick around. In my dream, I'm home, and now she'll have to fight. Welcome to Starling House. Enter if you dare. Honestly, though, that synopsis sounds good to me. Then I have Such Sharp Teeth by Rachel Harrison. This has werewolves in it. Rory Morris isn't thrilled to be moving back to her hometown, even if it's only temporary. There are bad memories there, but her twin sister Scarlett is pregnant, estranged from the baby's father, and needs support, so Rory returns to the place she thought she'd put in her rear view. After a night out at a bar, when she runs into an old almost flame, she hits a large animal with her car, and when she gets out to investigate, she's attacked. Rory survives miraculously, but life begins to look and feel different. She's unnaturally strong with an aversion to silver, and suddenly the moon has her in its thrall. She's changing into someone else, something else, maybe even a monster. But does that mean she's putting those close to her in danger, or is embracing the wildness inside her the key to acceptance? Then we have Fairydale by Veronica Lancet. What could possibly go wrong in a town that rhymes with fairy tale? August 1955, when Miss Darcy O'Sullivan, an orphan English teacher from Boston, receives a letter that her biological father passed away, she is surprised to find herself included in his will. There is only one condition. She must travel to Fairydale to attend his funeral. With the promise of a sizable inheritance, Darcy decides to journey to the small coastal town that holds the secrets of her birth. But the moment she steps foot into Fairydale, things start to go amiss. Odd residents, odd rumors, odd deaths. Everything about Fairydale is odd, including brooding Caleb Hale, part of the infamous Hale family. During the day, she falls deeper and deeper under his spell as he forces her to step out of her comfort zone and embrace her inner sensuality. But at night, it's another man who haunts her dreams. Eamon D'Arton, a nobleman who lived 2 centuries ago. Eamon is sweet and suave, where Caleb is intense and dangerous, and Darcy feels more torn than ever. Soon she finds herself embroiled in a triangle of lies, deceit, and inexplicable events that make her question her sanity. When an ancient evil threatens the town and everything Darcy holds dear, she must make the ultimate choice, but will she survive it? I keep seeing really good things about that book. Next up is A Secret History by Donna Tartt. I believe this is categorized as dark academia, which very fitting for fall. Under the influence of a charismatic classics professor, a group of clever, eccentric misfits at a New England college discover a way of thought and life a world away from their banal contemporaries. But their search for the transcendent leads them down a dangerous path beyond human constructs of morality. Ooh, it says it's a psychological thriller. Then I have The Only Good Indians by Stephen Graham Jones. The Only Good Indians follows 4 American Indian men after a disturbing event from their youth puts them in a desperate struggle for their lives. Tracked by an entity bent on revenge, these childhood friends are helpless as the culture and traditions they left behind catch up to them in a violent, vengeful way. Then I have My Darling Dreadful Thing by Johanna Van Veen. Ruth Beckman has a spirit companion only she can see. Ruth, strange, corpse-like, and dead for centuries, is the light of Rue's life. That is, until the wealthy young widow Agnes Knoop visits one of Rue's backroom seances and the two strike up a connection. Soon, Ruth is wicked away to the crumbling estate Agnes inherited upon the death of her husband, where an ill woman haunts the halls, strange smells drift through the air at night, and mysterious stone statues reside in the family chapel. Something dreadful festers in the manor, but still the attraction between Ruth and Agnes is undeniable. Then someone is murdered. Poor, alone, and with a history of hysterics, Ruth is the obvious culprit. With her sanity and innocence in question, she'll have to prove who or what is at fault or lose everything she holds dear. Then we have Hungerstone by Kat Dune. I did already start this book. I got 124 pages in. I did soft DNF this. I was really enjoying this book. I wasn't in like the mental space to read a book like this at the time. I just wasn't fully clicking, but I knew if I stepped away and I picked this book up when I was feeling like it has the potential to be between a 4 and 5 star. It's the height of the Industrial Revolution, and 10 years into Lenore's marriage to steel magnate Henry, their relationship is soured. When Henry's ambitions to take them from London to the remote British moorlands to host a hunting party, a shocking carriage accident brings the mysterious Carmilla into their lives. Carmilla, who is weak and pale during the day but vibrant at night. Carmilla, who stirs up something deep within Lenore. And before long, girls from the local villages fall sick, consumed by a terrible hunger. As the day of the hunt draws closer, Lenore begins to unravel, questioning the role she has been playing all these years. Torn between regaining her husband's affection and the cravings Carmilla has awakened, Lenore will soon uncover a darkness in her household that will place her at terrible risk. This one, on the surface, is like vampire story, kind of mystery, but it dives very deep into like women and their perceived role in society of being just the basic like housewife, caring for your husband, caring for the house, caring for children. And it asks a lot of like deep questions of what does our main character truly want out of life? What does she want to do? Who cares about society and what they deem as like appropriate for a woman? What do you want to do with your life? And I was having a really good time reading this. I think for the message that is being brought out in this book, I feel like it has such a potential for me to really enjoy it if I'm in the mood. I was starting to kind of feel like I was in a reading slump, and I needed something that I could just shut my brain off while I was reading and not have to think too deep into it. And this one was just making me think a little too much. So I need that when this up here is working. Is this really the last one? Oh, okay. The last one on this list is Where the Dark Stands Still by A.B. Poranek. This one's YA fantasy. Liska knows that magic is monstrous and its practitioners are monsters. She has done everything possible to suppress her own magic to disastrous consequences. Desperate to be free of it, Liska flees her small village and delves into the dangerous demon-infested spirit wood to steal a mythical fern flower. If she plucks it, she can use its one wish to banish her powers. Everyone who has sought the fern flower has fallen prey to unknown horrors, so when Liska is caught by the demon warden of the wood, called the Lessie, a bargain seems better than death. 1 year of servitude in exchange for the fern flower's wish. Whisked away to the Lessie's crumbling manor, Liska soon makes an unsettling discovery. She is not the first person to strike this bargain, and all her predecessors have mysteriously vanished. If Liska wants to survive the year and return home, she must unravel her host's spool of secrets and face the ghosts, figurative and literal, of his past. Because something awakes in the woods, something deadly and without mercy, something that frightens even the Lessie, and it cannot be defeated unless Liska embraces the monster she's always feared becoming. That one sounds really good too. I'm trying to think. I feel like there were other books that were coming out this fall that I really wanted to read, but for some reason I cannot for the life of me find them. Ooh, I lied. There is one more that I do want to read. And that one is Alchemy of Secrets by Stephanie Garber. That one comes out October 7th. It starts with a class in an old movie theater, Folklore 517, local legends and urban myths taught by a woman called the Professor. Most students believe the Professor's stories are just fiction, but Holland St. James has always been convinced that magic is real. When she tracks down a local legend named the Watchman, who can supposedly tell you when you'll die, the world finally makes sense. Except the Watchman tells her she will die at midnight tomorrow unless she finds an ancient object called the alchemical heart. With the clock ticking, Helen is pulled deeper into this magical world in the heart of Los Angeles and into the path of a magnetic stranger. Everything about him feels like a bad idea, but he promises Helen that her sister sent him to protect her. As they chase clues and stories that take them closer to the alchemical heart, Helen realizes everyone in this intoxicating new world is lying to her, even the stranger. And if she can't figure out whom to trust, not even the alchemical heart will save her. I am so excited for that book because I love Stephanie Garber's writing. I love her writing so much. It is so just whimsical. Her world building is never super extensive, but it just sucks you in and makes you able to picture everything so well. I have my fingers crossed that this is the same way. I am a little skeptical just because it is set in like a modern world, and I don't typically like stories that are like that. I like, especially if it's gonna have like magic in it and it's going to have fantasy elements in it, I want it to be its own world. I don't want to be reminded of real life while I'm reading magic and fantasy, you know? So I am a little skeptical on that, but I feel like if any author can pull that off and make you still even forget, it's Stephanie Garber. So I think that one might be one of like my most anticipated reads of this fall. Probably the one that I'm looking forward to the most. Are there any in this list that I showed that you've read that you rated highly? Please let me know, because I don't even know where to start with this pile. I don't even know which ones to put at the top of my list. I'm just going to go for it. But if you put any that were like 4 or 5 stars for you that you really enjoyed, those are getting bumped up. Let me know what you are going to be reading this fall. I'd love to see more books. If there were any that are upcoming releases that I missed because I was not very good at finding them, also let me know down in the comments. If you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. I greatly appreciate it, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye!